multicast stream, if you will. And I think we should introduce some teams here. Radiant side, we've got Speed Gaming. They'll start with 4 players in their jungle to keep it safe. Funnick gets a ward down, and we'll be able to Icarus dive away. But right away, Sentry'd, and
you leave the trail of destruction with the trees getting chopped down. It's
pretty good for Speed Gaming out of the gate.
Battle.
So offlaner, yep, that'll be the old clockwork here. Dire side, how do they set up these lanes, gods?
I think you go Lich Phoenix off lane and Earthshaker mid, Rubik Troll safe lane. That's the kind of logical way to do things. Go
Black Lich, Funnick on the Phoenix, and yeah, that leaves Dendi on the Core Shaker mid. Yep. 2 tangos and 3 GG branches going for that bottle rush. So the Core Shaker, it can be very potent. Korok is a player that comes to mind that I know really likes it from the NA scene, old Navi US. It's very easy to gank is the biggest issue. It seems like one of those things that teams respect. They know how good it can be, so it's, put a little extra priority in shutting down the Earthshaker, and slowing down that Blink Dagger is the key. If you stop him from rushing the Blink out, then his snowball just, it melts. He just can't get that momentum. I feel like this is kind of risky from Navi here.
Both teams have
battle begins.
Good roamers. I guess Navi just have the single support you can for Speed Gaming, it's Venge as well. Skyreth is kind of a support duo that can both roam and gank very well, or Venge can roam mid while the Skyreth maybe zones out the offlane. So for Earthshaker, any kind of Rubik lift to set up a couple totems is going to be a kill on the SF. Similarly, any kind of rotation on the Earthshaker. Earthshaker is a bit tankier and more durable than an SF, has got defensive stuns, but both of those heroes, a gank is going to lead to a kill.
Okay. So Dendi should be able to find some farm in the beginning parts of this stage, or in this lane without too much trouble until that Shadow Fiend starts racking up the souls and getting the big damage. He'll have a little bit of a less hitting edge.
From the ward kill. He got the kill on the
oh, I was wondering where that soul came from actually. I was looking at it.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's cheeky. You used to see that strategy with the Venomancer on the same team, and you put him into Roche, and then next thing you know, that Shadow Fiend starts the lane with 7 souls or so. Cute little cheesy strategy, but you don't see that too often anymore.
Yeah, so SF versus Earthshaker I think will be not as... SF, it'll be pretty even for the first few minutes, but then it'll become more and more SF favored once he can just raise spam out the way. Not a lane will see kills until the supports start rotating. The offlane though, this is a pesky lane. Any Lich dual lane in the offlane is always like a... It's just like you lose so much XP. You have to have your pull camp, and Speed Gaming just using double pulls to good effect.
Yeah, Funnick trading blows with the Skywrath Mage. He'll feel okay for now. Going with the double Ring of Protection opener. So Phoenix, a hero notably low starting armor at a whopping 0. Desperately needs that for the EHP. I think a smart build from Funnick.
Yeah. He really does double Ring of Protection.
Yeah, he does it on a lot of heroes.
He's one of the few players who still does it. Like his Jakiro's still when Navi flick it, he's still doing a lot of this double ring build.
Oh, he loves it on Jakiro. He just moves right into fast Tranquils and Basilius. Really, it's actually a very strong opener on that hero in particular. The Lich in the off lane can be very potent, but as we've seen in the past, it takes a bit of finesse. One misstep, one unnecessary death, and you've basically just handed over all that experience you've gained from the sacrifice. So even though it's very good, it does require a lot of discipline to pull off and really starve your opponent.
Yeah, it's one of those things like you can be kind of denying a lot of farm, but then all it takes is them to get like 1 kill because Lich is... I mean, you got a Nova, but it's not going to be the best fighter. That's going to be like the end of... Like suddenly you lose all that the farm advantage you got, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Dendi's struggling mid. He's been forced back to base. SF doing a good job there. He's got complete control, and this is where the first 2 minutes is kind of even, but then SF, he gets level 3, gets the 2 points and raises, and he's just got the better creep block as well. Initially, Dendi had on his hill, but once he lost the creep block, Earthshaker just gets bullied out of the lane.
Yeah, and this is where things get really difficult. You see the Shadow Fiend at level 4. He's got 22 souls. That damage nearing 100. Dendi... Well, he's got the damage when he has the totem up, but it's just the harassment in lane. He just can't take auto attacks from the Shadow Fiend.
And he's not getting runes as well.
Not this time.
That's how he stays in lane. He could have maybe bottle crowed, but it would. I guess the career was being used elsewhere, or was just not in position to do so.
Yeah. So how's the Clockwork doing? If we look up top, down bottom, see some initiation. Funny, go Icarus dive out. All right, doing a good job with the Phoenix, leeching XP, but able to survive.
I think Speed Gaming actually is handling this duel lane pretty nicely here. They're just, I mean, Lich is denying XP, but it's the same thing with these creep balls. They're getting denied as well, and Phoenix tries to come in. That zone out is still remotely certain. They're not the Phoenix, so it doesn't pester their balls too much.
Ooh, now in the bottom lane, initiation onto Go Black. He's silenced, taking the fiery swords. That's your first blood. Skywrath Mage finds it with an auto attack.
And my blood
Speed
too,
Gaming
if it
strike
meant
first
the
in the bottom
Skywrath
lane.
Scion
Now
were restored.
commandeering this 2-on-3.
Yep. Now 4-minute runes are coming out. Oh, Dendi tried to block off the SF going there, but SF got on the correct side of the vision, so he can contest this rune and not a fight Na'Vi can take.
Yeah, Rubik trying to do what he can, but not going to secure the rune.
So much trouble here. The courier's coming out now, but it's going to be a while before that. I think he almost has to walk back to base. If he gets hit by a raise, like, the Bottle Crow's going to be so slow that I think Dendi once again is out of
Dire's bottom tower
gets hit
is
by
under
one
attack.
raise there, another one takes him to critical HP.
It's not even worth Bottle Crowing at this point. I mean, he still will, I guess, but it's going to be so long before he can get any farm.
This is really rough, and this is sort of what I was picturing in my head when I saw Core Shaker. Okay, it's fun, it's cool when they get the space and can snowball, but
Dire's middle tower
he's just
is
not
under attack.
a potent laner against a hero like Shadow Fiend. He's got the huge range advantage, the huge burst advantage, and what can the Earthshaker really do here without any kind of support?
Surprised Rubik hasn't rotated off the lane to go for a gank. The two Speed Gaming supports aren't even helping out the mid lane because SF is doing so well. They're just like, great, Dendi's getting crushed.
I mean, Havost is the last hit leader right now in the top lane. About 34 CS. Rubik making that a reality for him. But even Clockwork getting some okay farm. 11
Dire's
CS. Nice cogs there to
is
burn
under
some mana,
attack.
push him back. I feel like Rubik's time could be better spent rotating to the mid and at least helping Dendi secure these runes. Obviously tried on the 4-minute mark. But Rubik, almost level 4, getting decent experience, has his boots. At some point, they need to put some resources into keeping the Shaker safe. But down bottom, Funnick initiated on, and, well, the same trio, very, very potent. Ancient Seal to lock them down, the stun, the burst damage. Not an easy trio of heroes to deal with.
At this point, all three lanes going pretty well for Speed Game. I think they'd like maybe a little more farm in the atmosphere, but again, this is the Lich effect. Lich will deny the farm, but the dual lane will give up those kills, so it's always really tricky there. And Clockwork at top, I think he's actually doing okay here. Like, you don't expect the Clock to do that much against a Rubik troll lane. He's hit level 5. Clockwork's a hero who doesn't need to be getting farm as an offlane, unlike certain offlaners, so he doesn't not relying on the Blink Dagger or anything. As soon as he hits 6, he can go gank Dendi and do a lot of damage.
Speak of the devil, Dendi being rotated on here. Smoke from Speed Gaming catches him unaware. Shadow Rays will not connect and he'll actually live. Sips the bottle and can come back to lane, so this rendered a bit ineffective. Oof. Skywrath making it out. Would have been a big kill for Na'Vi there, but not going to find it.
And Speed Gaming still so much control. They get both runes. SF gets the top rune. Ember Spirit gets the bottom rune, so they refill both their bottles. Ember at this point can be left alone a bit. Once he hits 6, Go Black can be solo killed by an Ember Spirit with ease. Phoenix even struggles a bit, like the dive away can't fully rely on against the Fire Remnant chase, so it's going to get pretty rough here. This is like, these two supports have been kind of focusing on the laning stage, but now they're going to be super active on the map.
Yeah, and that's where the defense of the Lich, I feel like, can become a little bit of a liability. Sure, you've got some presence in lane. We see the setup here on the Ember Spirit. Throws out the Searing Chains. He's probably going to fall. Funix mans up, stands his ground, gets the kill there, but now the supports joining the party. A few more auto attacks will bring down the Phoenix. That'll secure the kill. Now Go Black stunned up. One more from the Venge. It's a 1-for-2 as Speed Gaming clean it up, despite losing their Ember Spirit.
Ember's so close to 6, he doesn't want to like leave the lane when his supports are far away. It's kind of slightly greed at the same time. If he gets that level 6 from the lane, he suddenly becomes invincible and can go for kills like crazy. So that it's worth getting that bit of greed there. And hey, his support's turning around is the icing on top of that. So he'll get an easy level 6 now. Then the supports can just go. Probably go around with the Clockwork who's getting close at level 6. That's the thing. It's not just supports who are about to get active. It's this level 6 Clockwork who's about to do a lot of this work.
Yeah, right now for Na'Vi, it is Havost. He is their saving grace, still the last hit leader, and he's the one that's going to have to make these plays happen. Racking up a lot of farm up top, Phase Boost, Morbid Mask, feeling okay, and whoa, down bottom, Funnick actually gets taken out as they get close to diving that tower. All right, looks like a little more of the same, just that huge combo. Not easy for him to deal with.
Ember Spirit gets rolling. That's it. That's a bad sign. Ember Spirit now level 6, so...
He's doing a lot of damage to Shadow Fiend here. The dunk to cancel the Requiem. Nicely played by the Earthshaker. The hasted Dendi finds a solo kill and a much-needed one at that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Dendi catches a break. He's still behind SF's 49 CS to Dendi's 24, but that's a solo kill, gets Dendi up to level 8. That's a huge boost to him here in the early game.
Yep. Yeah, it really is. And that'll get him some progress towards the Blink Dagger. Probably wants Arcane Boots first. If he does, he'll be able to pick those up. Top lane, yeah, there we go. Initiation onto the Clockwork, set up from the Rubik, and Devote's really happy to secure that one as he throws out some axes. Now down bottom, Funnick again, the triple remnant forward. They could actually punish this. Chain Frost flying through will bounce across the two heroes. And not going to go for the Ember Spirit. Instead, they opt for the Skywrath Mage. He even doubles back a little bit. I want to say making some space for the Ember Spirit, but it looks like he just TP'd home, so easy kill for Go Black there, and Navi ending a couple streaks actually gives them a nice little boost.
Yeah, that was a nice little help for them. I guess they still lost Phoenix. Funnick in the offlane, like you do this Lich dual lane in the offlane, you expect the Phoenix to get good farm, good levels, and he's seeing on 6 CS, 0-4.
He is dead last on net worth. It's the only hero in triple digits. That hurts.
That's just the opposite of what that Lich dual lane's meant to accomplish. Like,
now what
Navi
is...
love giving Funnick farm. Like, normally he's playing more of a kind of semi-carry hero. Phoenix is much more a utility hero, but they love giving him farm regardless because his impact is very item-dependent in general. Yeah,
we talked about those stats a little while ago, and oh, the hook shot, it'll actually miss. Funnick will probably still die here, I think. No, the Icarus dive. Hits the peak. It's a close call, but the silence expires with just enough time to make the escape.
Guy's like, I got this.
Oh, no. Funnick, he almost makes it out. Now they'll punish the Skywrath, though. They'll trade a 1-for-1, it looks like.
They just want to Funnick.
So, okay.
Funnick being, at times, the Navi playmaker, but he's definitely not been in the best form as of late, so...
Yeah, relative to other offlaners, Funnick gets a lot more farm priority, and he's about tied with Dendi on average in terms of the percentage breakdown in farm, which is pretty atypical. I mean, what do you do as Phoenix when you're this far behind? Not even boots. He had 2 rings of protection. It looks like he sold one to buy a TP or a potion. I mean, that's how poor he is, guys. He's selling his rings. He's at the pawn shop.
Middle tower is under attack.
Well, I don't think he's gonna be going back to collect them later. So.
Navi lose their first tier 1 tower in the bottom lane as Speed group up, and this is quickly getting a little scary. Only 1,000 net worth, but the momentum way in favor of the Radiant.
And look at Navi's lineup, like you've got all, it's a very support-centric lineup, so you kind of, like Phoenix, Rubik, Lich, not really much ability to transition to late game. The Earthshaker
Radiant's top tower
can
is
be
under
that
attack.
kind of semi-carry late game. You can itemize him as a carry, but kind of gimmicky, but does work to some extent, but I just feel like Speed Gaming, they've got such a, like they've got Ember Spirit SF, a much better dual core lineup, they've got strong supports, Venture scales well, can amplify the physical damage, has the swap as a defensive tool. Navi just don't have anything that really matches up as far as their supports, and just like their Phoenix is not going to offer anything near the same in the late game. Navi need to make something happen with Dendi's Blink.
I am pretty inclined to agree here. This troll is getting good farm, but Havost can't pick this whole game up and put it on his back. Oh, we'll see. Speak of the devil, Havost even losing out some of his farm here. Shadow Fiend goes for power treads. Oh my, Havost up top. Oh no, he's going to get the Skywrath turnaround. Dendi will have a Blink Dagger shown off here, and they'll trade 1-for-1, but not what Navi were looking for.
Boss is like, sweet, I dodged the hook shot. Another.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go round 2, but yeah, I guess it was slight. That to me looks like slightly miscommunication, because Dendi's like, hey, I'm coming, just bait him a little bit longer, and Boss probably took, like, I mean, I don't know how it works, but Boss either thought, okay, I'll go back in, and then he'll be blinking in any second, but the timing just wasn't quite there. That's just a bit of a misplay as far as the team synergy.
Yeah. So at least Dendi has his blink now. And he'll square up with the Clockwork. Yeah, this is just an awkward movement from him. That battery's not going to use both of the damage on the way in, and makes it an easy one. Shadow Fiend gets there a little late. Looks like he'll be moving into a BKB coming up next. Ogre Club here, so no Hand of Midas, no like farm accelerator, but he's ready to fight.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So at this point, Speed Gaming actually able to go from objective to objective against a very early game centric lineup.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Initiation onto the Ember Spirit. Rubik stole the silence. Gives him a taste of his own medicine as he now steals the
Dire's
Flame Guard rather. Nice pick on the Ember Spirit down bottom. But meanwhile, up top, Speed Gaming just pressuring this tier 1 tower. Navi glyph it, but there will be no defense in sight.
Top tower has fallen.
Doing well. He's overtaken Havos now after the kill as well as the tower, so... The Speed Gaming, at this point, they're running these 2 calls, so if they're getting objectives, getting farm on one of them while the other gets ganked, it's still progress in some sense. So this Ember is actually, like, he's pretty under-leveled, pretty under-farmed. Normally this is the stage of the game where Ember's kind of controlling the tempo at like the 12 to 15 minute mark, so he's a little bit behind, for sure. Yeah,
it looks like he'll just go pretty standard here. Phase boots, drums, nothing too crazy. I do like the choice to grab drums. Give him a little bit of an edge now, beef up a little bit, and maybe open up some possibilities.
He doesn't really need to be that high DPS carry anytime soon. I mean, the natural transition is into a battle fury, but for now, he wants to fight with his team.
Yeah. So Speed Gaming living up to the kind of reputation they're setting for themselves here with this aggression and unrelenting at that. Constantly finding avenues to pressure Na'Vi, keep them out of their comfort zone, and again, the rune control. A 14-minute rolls around, they get the regen and the bounty.
They've got here, like the Ember Spirit especially, can make a lot happen with the runes. Clockwork, similar thing.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So Na'Vi constantly just on the back row playing defensive.
Yeah. Alright, Funix, oh my. Remnant in the trees. Almost sees him. That's a little close for comfort if you're Funix, given how slow or how far behind he is here.
Yeah.
He does have his tranquil boots, so that's a step in the right direction at least.
They're flying out here. Needs to be careful. If Ember could fire him afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Misses the chains.
Yeah. Or either that or he forces. I guess he forces Supernova maybe.
Yeah. It's a little bit tough to land those chains when you don't quite have the vision, but unfortunate for the Ember Spirit.
Right. Oh, Speed Gaming. I think pretty happy with the tempo. They're getting farm all across the board. They're being much more efficient than their opponents. And Na'Vi, I feel like they just can't keep sitting back and just saying, okay, Havos is free farming. He's out farming them and kind of, on par with the SF.
The later it goes, it just seems like it'll be harder for Na'Vi.
Yeah. I think you've got this Earthshaker Blink. You've got your Phoenix Supernova. Even if your Phoenix doesn't have items, like you've got heroes that can be pretty high impact just based on spells alone. Like you look at Lich. Lich is going to transition to a mech, but not really late game as far as their spells go.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack
for a lot of these heroes.
Yeah, for Lich, I mean the armor helps scale a little bit towards that late game, but yeah, nothing too crazy. It's an okay game for Rubik. There aren't a lot of great spells for him to steal though. Like the Venge Stun's pretty good. The Silence from Skywrath is pretty good, but there isn't like that Ravage, you know, that big
Dire's
black
bottom
hole
tower
or just
is under
some
attack.
crazy ability that Rubik's really looking for here. We'll see the Ember Spirit in the front line. Those that chains that connect on the Vanscore. Funnick will reveal himself from the tree line, shoots out some Fire Spirits, and that will kind of repel Speed Gaming for now as their 5-man push
tower is
comes
under
to an
attack.
end. But we got a big item pick up here, guys. With the
BKB
on one Shadow Fiend as he grabs this 16-minute rune.
Speed Gaming, they don't really want to be just giving up.
Hook shot up top. Grabs Havos, but now the Whirling Axes come out, and I'm not sure that this is where the Clockwork wants to be. Ooh, the Skywrath just in the nick of time. Brings him down, and Havos gonna pay for that one.
That's one of the, like, you compare that gank to the one where Dendi looked to back up Havos, and Speed Gaming just a bit more on point, making better calls. Like, end of the day,
Radiant's middle tower is under
team,
attack.
like, knew the timing a bit better as far as when Skywrath would show up to save his life, whereas with Dendi and Havos earlier, it was just slightly off.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Initiation onto the Shadow Fiend. Dendi sets it up with a solo dunk, hits him with the maxed out totem, and the damage is there with the Chain Frost from Go Black. Nicely done.
Nifty kill to get. SF is...
It's a needed kill to get.
Yeah, yet to get on the scoreboard, but at the end of the day, this SF is still in a good position as far as his farm goes. I mean, it's, I guess, similar to kind of a boss. I mean, he got the one kill, but getting good farm there.
So now Havos, speak of the devil, moves into a Yasha after the Morbid Mask. Things looking a little better for him.
He's had the Yasha. He got the Yasha first time.
Oh, did he?
It was like a phase Yasha. Or he's had the Yasha.
Ah, okay. So pulling up the gold, maybe a Manta style on the way for him. Phoenix, Tranquil Boots into Ring of Health. Curious how Funnick's actually looking to build this hero.
Suggesting, I guess, a pipe.
Okay.
Magic. If he gets silenced, there's a lot of magic damage. The SF ultimate.
Yeah.
It's almost guaranteed to go for the BKB. So I guess they're thinking, let's fight with 5-man team fight to some extent.
Okay.
Fight around the... And they don't want to go late game. They want to get what as the most kind of cost-effective items they can, and then take team fights or look to take objectives. I don't think they can go well into the late game.
Well, we got a rotation, and it'll turn into a hook shot right on the Go Black. There's the Ancient Seal to follow up, and old Lichy going to be taken out in the mid lane. Will Na'Vi come to make another fight? No, instead they'll go for a little rune control, and this time Dendi gets himself the invisibility rune in the bottle. And in the mid lane, Vengeful Spirit actually gets scouted out here. Stolen Rocket Flare on the Rubik, but Melody will be okay.
Feels like the one saving grace for Na'Vi right now that they have done a good job of shutting down the Ember Spirit and slowing him down. His items, his farm has just not been that impressive. He was a safe lane farmer as well, so I feel like he should be up more like around the 7k net worth mark, but a few ganks going his way and just a few times he's gone a bit too aggressive. That's a lot further behind him.
This game is a little bit more even than I sort of would think it is based on the momentum of Speed putting the pressure on. Speed only ahead by about 1,000 net worth, but it's not even with like a 3,000 experience lead right now,
attack.
which is a little bit surprising. A lot of that coming from Havost. He is topping the chart as Shadow Fiend catches up to him, but a strikingly even game, even though it kind of feels like Speed are the ones controlling the tempo right now.
Yeah, and for Na'Vi, it's just they are staying kind of on par and keeping up with farm to some extent, keeping up with XP. It's hard to see the long-term plan apart from fighting around like maybe Havost BKB. BKB is essential in this game. All 5 of these heroes, you want to get BKB in, so... Looks, yeah, he's picked up Mithril. Oh, he's got a full BKB. I think Na'Vi look to take Roshan and then kind of 5-man around the BKB and ideally a Go Black mech, which isn't quite ready. Okay, he's only a 50 gold off the mech. So.
Yeah, he's just about there.
Yeah. So this is actually a good timing. They've got mech, they've got Troll BKB, they can teamfight, they can Rosh, they can push towers. Na'Vi have a lot of options. Suddenly when for the last 15 minutes they've just been letting Speed Gaming control the tempo.
Yeah, I feel like Havost is like right on that edge right now of maybe just like balling out of control. He's a good bit up on the Shadow Fiend, and now with this BKB, I feel like there's a chance if Na'Vi can take a good team fight here that Havost can really get scary and be hard to deal with. This next fight will be pretty telling about the next 5 to 10 minutes of this game, I feel like.
I have scattered out. I'd be surprised if Speed Gaming looked to initiate in. Like, I don't think you can really hook Havost. You don't have any kind of burst damage to go, like you get like a small stun with the hook shot, but you can't, unless you chain stun it perfectly with a magic missile, that fight goes horrible for you. So I think Speed Gaming should probably look to get out of here. Go farm their jungle, farm their ancients, and stay near enough that they can contest Na'Vi if they go for Roshan.
Na'Vi make a smoke rotation, and it has not been scouted out. They will clear out a ward as they walk through. Is this a smoke?
Speed were roaching.
Yeah.
Immediately scouted by Ben.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate for Havost, but maybe they'll bait this out. Go Black's here, he does have a Chain Frost available.
This time he's not even the mech and
Na'Vi will bait this. They know that they can see it, and they're just ready to try and take a fight here. They're confident of their ability outside of the pit. Go Black on the front lines. Can he get off the Chain Frost before he goes down? Dendi goes in with the dunk, brings down the Skywrath right away. Requiem Channel hits most of Na'Vi, but in comes the Ember Spirit. That'll pop Dendi, Lich, and oh boy, it's actually trade. Shadow Fiend on the run. The laser doing a lot of damage. It's Havost that cleans it up. It seemed like Speed had that fight, then all of a sudden Na'Vi just erupted with this explosion of damage, and it's a 2-for-5 trade.
The Chain Frost just did so much damage. Dendi as well. Like, he ends up going down there, but they kept the Lich alive. The Lich mech was what made it. He got the ulti off because he just purchased that mech. And he got the Chain Frost.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I think they realized like the Chain Frost was the one spell that was going to ruin them, and they committed to try and prevent Lich from getting it off. They couldn't do so.
Oh,
Dire's middle tower is under
big
attack.
win for sure. Na'Vi not only take that big team fight, but now Havost, look at net worth. He's up by a big margin over that Shadow Fiend. Now with Apes of the Immortal in tow, he is feeling good. And let's see, he's already picked up something, maybe 700 gold. Yep, looks like SNY will be his next item of choice.
Okay. So suddenly, the tables kind of turned a bit. Na'Vi are going to, and I feel like once they got the BKB in the mech, they were the ones in control. It was just Speed Gaming didn't quite realize it just yet. It was like a...
Just look at that gold graph, dude. That's like a 5,000 gold swing, just straight down.
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's like the drop from that huge roller coaster in 6.5. The hell it's called, King Dakar.
I'm not on that roller coaster, I tell you that. I look at that, I'm just like, nope, I'm
Not for me, boys. I'll be sitting here eating my Vegemite watching you guys throw up. Thanks.
Yeah. I'll pass on that one. So, B Gaming, I think they're going to look at that fight and be, well, it's our turn to
Radiant's
sit back,
middle tower is under
try to get some more
attack.
farm on the Shadow Fiend, the Ember Spirit,
Radiant
Battle Fury,
structures are fortified.
They need to get to a point where they can whittle down her Voss BKB so he doesn't have a full 10-second BKB, and also just ensure they get an instant clean pick-up in a fight. I don't know, like the Clockwork Hook the late there wasn't like a Skyrest
under attack.
plus Mystic Flare. They need to use
Radiant's
that Clockwork
middle
like
tower
Pulse
is
plus
under
Mystic Flare
Radiant's
combos
middle
to
tower has
get a
fallen.
key attack. I think it was Dendi's Echo Slam that hit the Skywrath Mage and got that really nice counter initiation.
Yeah, exactly right. That's blinked in and just isolated him. I think he hit him with a dunk, then hit him with the totem, and that was plenty of damage. Now the Ember Spirit could be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got a Remnant down at the tier 1 bottom. He'll jump to it straight away, and he'll be safe for now. Has a TP scroll, but trying to hang on to it. Looks to be a little greedier here. Puts another Remnant down, and now he's going to go poking around. Bumps into Havost, hops right to the Remnant, TP's out,
Radiant's bottom
and
tower
no way
is
to
under
interrupt.
attack.
That's a nice play there. They dodge a smoke gank, they waste a lot of Navi's time, who are going to go for tier 1, but already pressure in the
top
tier 2
tower
mid,
is
pressure
under
in the
attack.
tier 2 top. This is
Radiant's
the right
bottom
move to
tower
make this
is
speed
under
gaming.
attack.
Navi going to probably take the tier 1 and just leave her
Radiant's
boss there. They
bottom
need to
tower
rotate
has
and make sure
fallen.
that Speed Gaming don't get either of these towers and also just don't get too much farm.
So 13-13, 24 minutes in. It's Na'Vi with a slight lead, but still a pretty even slugfest. As we mentioned, both these teams up 1-0 right now in the opener of this group stage. Only one team can move on to be undefeated, gods. These teams, they came, they're ready, and I love that already in this tournament we're seeing some pretty crazy picks. We're seeing a core shaker in our second game of the tournament. I mean, that is just speaks volumes to the state of Dota 2 right now.
We had a pick in our first game, and
yeah,
there was a Chen Sniper game.
We're off to a good start here. If this is just a little bit of a precursor of what the rest of the event has in store, this is just the wild card. These aren't even the big teams yet.
I think that's the thing. Like, we've seen a lot of teams play, and like at Starlight's, everyone just kind of going for the same picks. But I think your secrets, your newbies, your VP Gamings, they're going to be like, well, they're first picking Axe every game, but that's not what we're going to do. We think these other heroes, these scraps is the way to play. So those teams aren't just going to be looking to kind of go with the trends. These are the teams that are going to be looking to innovate and find the next big thing.
I love it. So both teams here taking a little bit more of a passive turn as we're well into this mid-game. Roche, or pardon me, the Aegis, still going to be up for about another minute
Dyer's
and
bottom
10
tower
seconds
is
or
under
so.
attack.
Maybe the timing that Na'Vi want to hit and try and
Radiant's
make
top
something
tower
happen here.
is
They've got
under
both of the
attack.
front lines up top. As they rotate 4
Radiant
heroes, Funnick will go
structures
down
are
bottom
fortified.
to try and repel the likes of the Shadow Fiend. Funnick is also committing to the pipe, by the way. He picked up his Hooded Defiance.
He went back for it, though.
Dyer's middle tower
May just be
is
a
under
casual
attack.
hood. Maybe like a
Casual
personal
hood.
hood for his own survivability, but he doesn't care about his teams. His team has 2 PK. They're going to have 2 PKBs. With Troll already having one, Earthshaker close to one. End of the day, it's like, yeah, your supports. You don't want to buy a support you don't want to buy a pipe just to save your supports necessarily.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point.
Got Nullfield, level 3 Nullfield.
I actually, that's a good point. I actually have mixed feelings about pipe right now. I was on that pipe train, you know. I was believing the Merlini hype that pipe is the big underloved item, but after talking to some pros at
Dyer's
Starladder
bottom
and
tower
what have
is
you,
under attack.
the general consensus seemed to be that it's like a good, not great item.
Dyer's
Like
structures are
its value just
fortified.
isn't there, mostly because it's a core hero that needs to farm it quickly for it to have a lot of utility, but all of your
Dyer's
core
bottom
heroes need to
tower has
prioritize other
fallen.
items to really do a lot of damage. So you get stuck in this. If the support gets it, they're going to be getting it too late before it can really do much. So where it actually fits in for who's going to farm it is just up in the air for most
Yeah,
games.
exactly. Supports can't really farm it. Cores would prefer a BKB. If you're dying to magic damage, rather than get a pipe for your team, you're like, well, I'm helping out my supports who will die anyways. Like, end of the day, even if they get piped, they're probably still dead. So you just negate all magic damage by getting BKB. The cost is what's really off-putting about the pipe. It's 3.6k gold or something, and that's just...
Yeah,
it's not value.
It's a little bit cheaper than a BKB, but it just is not... It's not quite there. And it's also one of those items that if it was much cheaper or more cost-effective, it could be very easily be broken because it's just too cost-effective. So it's in an odd spot, but the consensus seems to be that in most games, even against heavy magic damage, it just simply is not worth the investment. So we'll see. I'd love to see a pipe, though. It is definitely an underloved item.
I actually picks up the Sun, not BKB for Funnick. Curious.
So probably a Halberd, I'd have to imagine.
I think you're imagining correct.
Pretty good against the Ember Spirit. He will go into his Battle Fury.
It's like, I feel like it's okay against Ember and okay against SF, but it seems like it's like a weird-ish choice. The BKB makes sense because if he gets silenced or stunned to start off a fight and doesn't get the egg, it's a pretty big deal. But
yeah, I guess the evasion gives him some decent EHP. Maybe that's kind of what he's thinking about. It's like that. You're not going to go a butterfly, so it's kind of that middle ground.
I think to some extent it's like, well, he doesn't get BKB, so they're actually going in with the nukes, and he can soak up a lot of
Dire's
damage.
middle
At the end of the
tower
day,
is under attack.
not that important to keep alive. And hey, if he gets off the egg, great. And if fucking dies in the fight, it's not really a big deal anymore. For Na'Vi, it's going to be about keeping Dendi as well as Havost alive in these fights. Yeah. Even the Rubik, I feel, can do a lot more if he steals some big spells.
Down bottom, looks like a fight could break out. Wrap around from the Skywrath. Silence on advanced score, but he'll show off that Blink Dagger he's picked up. And Ruby Tuesday will be just fine. Shadow Fiend, he's now 16. He has his Manta, and Skywrath actually finds his level 11 also. So things looking pretty okay for speed, outside of Havost, who's still farming like a madman. Everything else looking okay for the Radiant.
I think this game's just going late game at this point. Neither team's wanting to commit to anything. Na'Vi is happy to sit back and get their work on their farm here, probably just wait for the next Roshan. And even then, they can maybe take some tier 2 towers off of it, but speaking, stall them. I think they've got amazing high ground defense as well in general, like pushing into Clockwork and the Embers.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This is one of these matchups where like both teams have really good high ground defense. Troll, Earthshaker, Phoenix, not fun heroes to push in. Even Rubik and Lich, pretty good supports once they have that high ground. Your Chain Frost bouncing around, stealing a Requiem or whatever else you can. You can steal a hookshot just to initiate as they're coming to the high ground. A lot of opportunities for Na'Vi to defend, and for speed, like you were rattling off all these heroes. The swap, you know, into a Skywrath Mage, very easy just to isolate one hero, bring him down. So kind of not surprising to see both teams taking a little bit more of a passive turn and kind of play it safe in what is kind of a big match here in our second heat.
And Na'Vi, Havost is staying a full item ahead of the Shadow Fiend, and this itemization is just the right way to go. The Skadi pickup is just going to allow, if they do get like an Aegis, it allows them to siege that a little bit better with all the stats and the tankiness it gives you. You can fight better against the Shadow Fiend in general. The slows go through BKB, so his item farm progression is fantastic. Curious to see what Dendi goes. So he's kind of the...
So you're just pulling up money this whole time?
No, he's not got that much money, but it's more like...
Oh, he won BKB, okay.
Yeah, he got the BKB, but it's more like, where will he go next? Because this game feels like it's going to go another 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Supernova mid.
Okay, oh, they bring down the egg and the Chain Frost. Just a little too late. It seemed like a pretty close call.
Space created at this time being.
Now they go onto the Venge. Force Staff keeps her okay. Avos comes in. Battle Trance on. A few more axes. He gets the kill there. BKB's on as he gets silenced. Van score. Blink forward. Telekinesis. Shadow Fiend pops the BKB. Manta, but Avos, can he find the kill? A few more auto attacks. Oh my gosh, the Clockwork. He keeps his Shadow Fiend alive. It's just a 1-for-1.
What a player. The Cog's blocking the entire path while he's BKB'd and then hits him with the damage. This guy's fucking.
That was about as close as it gets for that Shadow Fiend. He was one axe away from death, and he walks away. Na'Vi hoping for a Roche here, but not going to be that fast timing that they wanted, and we'll have to linger around for another minute or so. No, 30 seconds rather.
So, initiation mid lane. They want to hold. They know BKB's on cooldown.
Yeah, but he does a lot of return damage. The Clockwork gets low. The Bo's still alive for now. Stolen Cox, giving that Clockwork and takes his own medicine. The Bo's on the run. The dubs may be enough to kill him. No, he lives. And they turn it around on the Ember and the Clock. Now they heal him up with the Urn, the Laser, or the Sun Ray, I guess I should call it. And Na'Vi turn it around again. And now this will open up Roche. They walk into the pit right as he spawns. Havos says, today we're fine.
Say that way. Today's the day. You get into this is it. You gotta play well today. You get into the main event.
Yeah, that's true. This is the big day. This is the first milestone.
That fight is showing.
Roshan has fallen to the
die. The Skadi keeping him alive. Even the return damage off the blade mail, and I mean eventually he's like, oh, I should probably stop fighting, but
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I feel like when I saw that Clockwork hopped in, I could just picture the player's expression on his face as he jumps in, like, all right, guys, I got him. Blade mail on. Returns all this damage. And they're just like, wait, he's got way more HP than I do. Oh, no. It's just, he's so big.
Scarus did decent damage, but that was a full Mystic Flare, Ancient Seal, a couple Arcane Bolts.
That was everything. That was
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Incredible. Now they just move into this tier 2 tower.
Are fortified.
They just melt it. The glyph comes out right away, but very difficult for Speed to pose much of a meaningful defense here. Look at this. They'll just leave Havos tanking the tower. The Sunray healing him up faster than the tower can do damage.
This is going to be
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
All right. How many points did he have in the Sunray? Let's see here. Is it maxed out now? Yeah, okay. He's level 14, so.
He did go very... Often you see like
Dyer's
just 2 points
top
of
tower
dive.
is under attack.
Okay, now the fight breaking out. Van score. Oh, hook shot on 2. But now the clockwork. Stun brought down for the turn. Avos uses the BKB, goes to the high ground. Dendi hops forward. They get the kill on the Shadow Fiend. BKB is making it happen for Na'Vi as the Supernova flies through. Looks like it won't connect with anything with their Phoenix. We'll reset a little bit here as he comes back with full health. Oh, Ember Spirit gets isolated. Now Dendi comes in. The Core Shaker given in the totem. It's a 1 for 3. They lose their Rubik. Buyback now on the Ember as Na'Vi take another successful team fight. And the tier 3 tower in mid taking some damage. The Glyph was used at the tier 2, so now they have no way to make an easy defense of both without a BKB. Needs to be a little careful, but hey, he's got the Aegis. He'll be all right. That will be the end of it. Funnick trying to use the Sunray to pick him up, but I think Na'Vi okay with trading away the Aegis in that manner.
Yeah, and they can even look to potentially re-engage. Without the Skywrath ultimate, Havos is pretty unkillable, but for now they're going to regroup, probably heal up a little bit. SF will be respawning soon, so maybe not the one to fight Speed Gaming at full strength, but Na'Vi just fight after fight, going pretty damn well for them. And
yeah, I mean, just look at this net worth now, though. This is such a disparity. They're both at like 20k. We got the Shadow Fiend around 13k. It was even-ish by just a little bit. Now it's like a 50% margin across these two cores. And this is where the Troll, you look at him at this size, and just how do you deal with him? Net worth about 10,000 in favor of Na'Vi. What do you do to start dealing with the Troll at this point? I mean, well, it seems like they've already dropped their arsenal.
They're already, like, Troll's already building the MKB to handle the SF's evasion, so in general, it's run away. If he's BKB'd, you run like hell. If he's not BKB'd, you burst him down if you have everything. You need your ultimates. You need Skywrath, Mystic Flare, you need to be lumping on as much magic damage as you can and lock him in place, but that's only if you've got like enough magic damage. It's basically run unless you can burst him down.
Yeah. Okay. I can see
and
that.
bursting him down is very tricky. The Frost Armor makes him a lot tankier. It slows down your entire team. You combine it with the Skadi slow. There's slows from the dive. So if you don't kill him, you're all dead.
Yeah. So I want to make note of this Phoenix build. Looks like a fight is going to break out in the mid here. Zavos goes to the high ground. Cogs will knock him back down, but the Phoenix went for the foot, then picked up a Sun, and now goes back for the pipe, and it's Dendi that buys the halberd on the Earthshaker. So doing the itemizing a bit different than we would have thought. We'll hold that thought. Swap on the close. He's going to be in deep on BKB. Keeps him safe, returns a lot of damage. Supernova used off to the side. Clockwork goes down. Phoenix will be okay. Again, the Supernova not really going to do anything in the way of damage or stun, but Funnick will live. Icarus dive out to safety. Na'Vi did clear out one of the barracks. I believe it was the melee. No, never mind. No, they didn't. Pardon me. So, all right, just to pick on the Clockwork.
Havos back to full HP. The sustain, like you back off, Havos gets low from all the ultis and the spells, but it's round 2 now, and he's back more or less to full HP.
Going for the range barracks, battle trances on, just throwing out those actions. Stun and a defensive swap stolen by the Rubik. Nicely played by Vanscore. Dendi hops forward. He does drop the dunk. Na'Vi unable to secure any shield as this. Range barracks go down now. The rest of the fight breaking out. This Shadow Fiend doing what damage he can. They'll lose their bench in the fray. And it'll be Speed Gaming on the back foot as they're relegated to the well, and Na'Vi left to go to work on this melee barracks that's still standing. They'll actually leave it. They get the range backs before making the retreat.
I think it's the first time I've seen like a defensive Requiem. He used that Requiem from like behind the Raxes just for the minus physical damage. He's like, let's slow down their push by just casting a Requiem from long range. I don't think I've seen a play like that before. That's when you know you're in deep shit.
Yeah.
Like, there was not much of an answer for Speed Gaming for that push. The sustain, Havos in the front lines, doesn't even need an Aegis with the Phoenix backing up, and I mean, the top of the Phoenix is like, end of the day, Phoenix is not here for, the item is like a non-factor, I think. At this point, he's just there to sit back, heal Havos, go in and kind of initiate and force spells on himself, and then hopefully get off the Supernova and live. If he dies, doesn't really matter. Na'Vi back off, it's a small loss for them. If he lives, they've won the fight, which is what happened. He got the Supernova off, they couldn't deal with the egg, and Havos meanwhile was just standing up, taking out the range racks, giving Na'Vi a really big edge here.
Yeah. So Rubik picking up an ultimate ore, maybe looking towards a Scythe of Vice, maybe thinking about a Linken's, couple of options there, but it's Havos with the big items. farm continuing to be impressive, and now the MKB after the Scotty picked up, and now very tanky and adding a lot of damage to the fray.
I don't know if there's much of an answer for Voss. Even with his BKB now down to, well, 6 seconds, getting close to that 5-second mark. Not sure if it's enough.
Yeah, Ember Spirit. His items are getting a little bit better now with the Battle Fury and Crit complete, but here we go. Isolate down bottom. Vanscore starts it off, and Havos just brings him down.
Dyer's top tower is under attack.
Oh, now in the mid, Dendi with the initiation on Defend. Uses the dunk, secures the kill there. BKB on, isolating the Clockwork. They still find the kill. It's a funny thing gets credit for it. A 3-for-0 across the map for Navi. And even
Radiant's
Supernova
bottom
used for
tower
good measure.
has fallen. Dyer's top tower
Things
is
are
under
starting to look
attack.
a little rough for Speed Gaming here in their second game.
Dendi is just beast moding. These totem hits are just
Radiant
They're so
structures are fortified.
plus 5 ID8. Okay.
Radiant's middle
It's pretty
barracks are
disgusting.
under
That's
attack.
where strength damage is really good. Like the halberd gives you more strength, more base damage, which is more damage than amplified for the Earth.
Radiant's
the
middle
bench aura
barracks
plus like
has fallen.
619.
But that's negative.
Oh, that's an
He's gonna hit harder when the
does somebody have a slab
Radiant's
that's when you
bottom
bump into
tower
something that
has
gave a little
fallen.
extra? But still,
Radiant's
very,
bottom
very
barracks are
just
under
potent,
attack. Radiant's
core
bottom
shaker here.
barracks has
This one,
fallen.
even with kind of a bad start, I mean, Dendi, for all
Radiant's
intents and
bottom
purposes,
barracks
lost
has
that
fallen.
mid lane. And this is the recovery that you can make. That one kill to get him towards that blink dagger, all the momentum he needed to really turn this around.
And that one Roche fight, that was
That's true. That was
so
the
catastrophic.
kind of nail in the coffin almost. That was...
And at that point, that was like Navi had finally got their items where they could fight, and then Speed Gaming gave them the team fight that Navi wanted. It was like, you should see those items and play keep away. Like, if you see Navi go down one lane or into your jungle, you go to their jungle, you go to another lane. You just have to avoid fights, and SF could have kept up on farm. He shouldn't be this far behind. Ember Spirit should be a faster farmer than the Earthshaker in general. Like, Speed Gaming just tried to too much to take the fight to Navi when they didn't need to.
Well, now Shadow Fiend completes his butterfly, but unfortunately the MKB is already out, so all that yummy EHP that comes from the evasion will be mitigated already. Navi holding on to a very comfortable 23,000 net worth lead as Roche respawn right around the corner.
I don't know if Voss even cares about taking it. It's got so much good support that him dying is unlikely. And this blink is hard to deal with as well.
Dyer's middle
See it
tower
in
is
use
under
here,
attack.
goes right onto the Shadow Fiend. He'll Mantis straight away. Havos, he'll just BKB. Cog's kind of in his way, but sort of not really. Just start throwing axe over him. Clockwork takes some good damage. Straight to BKB for a lot of right clicks, but no kills.
I mean, 50 seconds, his BKB's down to 5 seconds anyway, so it's just a cooldown maze for the wait.
Oh boy. We got the Crit
Radiant's
Shaker
top
here,
tower
gods.
is under
The
attack.
Crystallis is out. Dendi's ready for the big numbers.
Radiant's top tower
I'm
has
ready for
fallen.
the big numbers. Mid and bottom lane of Barracks down. Only one standing. Radiant side in a lot of trouble here. They won't have a glyph coming up for this fight. So if they lose this one, they're going to be in deep doo. Hook shot in right on to Havos. He'll be silenced. Skyrap Mage drops the ulti. Red Ring of Souls flies through. They get the kill on his running before he can directly him. Or pardon me, get the egg off. Dendi comes in, brings down the bench. Now they've lost their farmer. They just go ham on the Shadow Fiend. Havos still
Radiant's
barely
top tower
alive.
is under
Silence.
attack.
The Arcane Bolt and chase him down. Double Arcane Bolt. He blinks back. But can he actually live?
BKB's him.
Oh my, Havos.
Oh.
He lives! The Ember Spirit not going to be so lucky, and this looks like the beginning of the end for Speed. Coming out in this game, there it is. They'll tap out. GG. Navi starting off 2-0 in the wild card groups. Now moving into the first
Navi,
slot. And gotta be feel good after a performance like that.
Voss just continuing his streak of amazing plays in this Navi. I think him and Itzol's Vangscore's been doing really solid on the support role. Vangscore's Rubik obviously great, but he just gets a lot done on the Rubik as a, in some ways, kind of the. I feel like when you the kind of heroes Goblek plays, the Abaddons, the whatever the Liches in this game, it kind of puts Vanscore like as